What kind of fishing lures should you use in the summer? Well, stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you in this video. Okay, so these are the types of baits that I like using in the winter. Now, some of them aren't going to be, or all of them aren't going to be here because too many baits I use in the summer. So, let's start off with some yum dingers. So, I like using these baits because they just catch you a lot of fish. These are some beginner baits too. If you're just starting out fishing, buy some yum dingers. I personally I'll recommend you using watermelon and red flake just because I've had the most luck with watermelon, red flake, and Cajun neon. Right there, Cajun neon. I always have the best luck with those two colors right over there, just because I've always used these colors. I've used green pumpkin too. Don't be afraid to get green pumpkin. Don't be afraid to try new colors out. These are just the best colors that work for me. But green pumpkin works. Green pumpkin, watermelon seed, watermelon candy works. Just get, the things that feel like you're gonna use. I mean, I use these just because if the bite's slow, I throw out these. Bites slow, I just throw out some yum dingers. I put on a shaky head. A shaky head's a weight on the top of a hook, and you just throw it down, and it sits like kind of right side up in the water, floating there, and you pop it up twice, and then it just sits back down. I'll try to show you that. I'll try to show you those in another video. Alright, so those are done. Yum dingers are number one priority to go to. Where you should throw those, though, where you should throw the yum dingers at, where you should throw these at, you should throw them right by trees, because the hook does not show. Throw them right by trees. Don't throw them in the tree. Throw them right by the trees. Some brush, brush around there. Bushes you could throw around there. Some grass on the bank. Throw it on the side of the grass on the bank. Perfect bait in the summer. Perfect for beginner bait for beginners, and just all around perfect. Next bait is topwater. I like throwing some spooks. I like throwing frogs. I like throwing buzz baits. I like throwing, you name it. Topwater is the way to go in the summer. The perfect conditions, like cloudy skies, warm, perfect conditions. Cloudy skies, it's warm, it's raining, perfect for spook, maybe some frog once in a while. These are the new Zoom frogs, though. I haven't tried these out. I just got these a couple of days ago, probably a week or so ago. I haven't tried these. I'm waiting to try these out, though. More durable plastic. But yeah, I like throwing frogs on top of muck or whatever. If there's muck around your area and they have it's the very thin stuff where you can throw your bait into it, and it doesn't, it doesn't sit on the top and doesn't move, it doesn't skid across like that. It actually moves the tails like it has to be in the water. This is mostly open water by trees and everything, like maybe a tree's 2 feet across from where you're going to throw. You'd throw this and just pop it across. The action of this, though, is popping it like this, and it just goes side to side. Goes pop, 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 pop. Perfect bait in the summer when it's very hot out. Throwing it in the shade, it's amazing bait. Amazing bait throwing it out there. Frogs mostly for duckwort. The very thin duckwort out there, you throw it across there, and you reel it back and just plopping down there. Anytime there's not ice on the water, except for when it gets winter time, you should throw this. I've thrown this, I think it's middle of November or October, somewhere around there. Still warm. I'm still catching fish on topwater, but the bite's a little bit slower. It is. This I haven't caught a fish on this, but I've caught a fish on spooks before. Very fun. very active. This is, it is mostly frogs are beginner baits. This is like almost to a beginning to medium bait, because you gotta know where to throw this. You can't get it stuck. If you get it stuck, then good luck trying to get it back. This is where you hide the hooks. The hooks are hidden. Same with the other hard body frogs. Hooks are hidden. Another one of those baits to throw when you're a brand new person, fishing. Moving to our next bait. Our next bait is a what do you call this? A jerk bait. Yeah, that's right, a jerk bait. This imitates a injured fish. It's supposed to imitate when you jerk your pole. It's supposed to dart off to the side, like it's darts off to the side really quick. You can look up on some videos. Some people have GoPros, just in the water. You can see them. I like throwing this specific color. I've caught a lot of fish on this color. I've also caught a lot of fish on darker colors too. I've caught maybe a 4-pounder on a dark color, and I've almost caught a fish on this. I've caught maybe a few, not a lot, but one of the best colors is throwing this. Amazing bait, just throw in the winter and the springtime when those fish are postponing and spawning. My most favorite baits of all, swim jigs. Swim jigs are the most baits that I throw a lot. I like throwing, if I can get this out of the package, I like throwing this bait specifically just because it's one of my favorite colors. I've caught so many fish on this. I've had so much luck with this. I've tossed this around. I've chucked this around. I have a really old swim jig of this, and it's like the paint's torn off all of it because the fish been biting it constantly. These are the type of baits that I like throwing cane thumpers around with. Now this color you can get it at any local store. It is called Smoky Shad by Strike King. Not sponsored by Strike King. I wish I was though. I use a lot of Strike King swim jigs just because they're a lot of, they're good. They're just good. I like using Smoky Shad specifically just because what I put on the back of them, it's just perfect. It goes with this all the time. I've thrown this around trees, rocks. I've thrown this around in open water before, right by lily pads. I've caught fish out of lily pads with this before. Amazing bait to be throwing with cane thumpers on the back, like a paddle tail. Throw that on the back of this. You're good. You're set. It has to be, it doesn't have to be, to me, it has to be the same color as this, because then, Smoky Shad and Smoky Shad, cane thumper tail, you're throwing this around, perfect. Catch everything with this. You throw this out somewhere, you put a cane thumper on it, you catch it. I'll also pull out some cane thumpers that I use on this. I use Salty DR. I don't really have Salty DR because I couldn't find them at my local store, but I use cane thumper DRs, Salty DRs with this. Amazing bait. I love this bait. I bought 2 packages of these because I lost a couple of them, and it's just amazing bait, man. I love this bait a lot. Moving on to our next swim jig. I've thrown this around, and it's man, I've lost this bait. I've only bought one of these. I only bought one of these because I had low confidence. I had low confidence in this. This is called Sexy Shad. I've had low confidence though with these kind of baits, just because that the color doesn't seem good or anything. But if it imitates a shad, then I'm gonna be throwing it. I've caught what was it, a 3-pounder on one of these. I've caught a 4-pounder on one of those too. I recommend you using these for beginners. Just don't throw them by trees or anything if you're not that skilled with these kind of baits. What I would use on the back of these though, I would use a grub tail, a green pumpkin grub tail, fat Albert tail on this. Now, I've lost one of these at a pond before. I threw it and it was just a little dinky fish, but I didn't have my line tight enough, and then it just ripped it out, and it really made me mad because I've caught like almost all the fish there that day with this, and you know, I had to throw my smoky shad, but nothing was biting on that smoky shad. They were biting on this. Warning though, the eyes of these swim jigs do pop out really fast. I highly recommend you, if you want to keep the eyes, go ahead and like take a knife and try to pop them out and super glue them back on there, because these eyes don't really stick out. You don't really need the eyes, but I prefer the eyes just because that gives it that shine on there. You know, it imitates the shad a little bit more than it would at just playing. So that is the baits to use in the summer. You could also use baby brush hogs. There's a lot more you can use in the summer. You can use what are these beaver tails beaver baits. You can use those in the summer. Those we were in December and the water was getting really cold, and we just threw beaver tail baits around all the time. Caught a lot of fish. Caught a tremendous amount of fish. Wouldn't believe it on how much fish we've caught. But if I could have $300, I'd probably buy 10 of these baits. Tens. I'd buy 10 of the smoky shad, 10s of the sexy shad, freaking thousands of salty DR trailers, salty DR this. By the way, that salty DR trailer is from Big Bite Baits, not sponsored, but they should sponsor me because I use their trailers, and their trailers do work. I've caught a lot of fish with their trailers before. I'll pull out some of the hooks that I use for, actually, I'll just say them right now. They're called rugby jig heads for, what you call them? Shaky head. I use those for those because those work the best in cold days when fish aren't really biting that well. You know, I use those. I use a lot of baits. You'll see me in some of my videos. You'll mostly see me throw swim jigs, but if the bite's not on swim jig, then I'll throw some worms around. I'll throw these. This is the type of bait that I use. I only have maybe like one of these, and these are like, and this it's like the biggest one. I actually have two of these. So this is called Salty DR right here, and it kind of is the same color as my swim jig. As you can see, my swim jig has dark gray on there. It has a little bit of blue. It has white. It has black. You know, it's just amazing. I usually bite my baits. I usually like go ahead and bite it right here on the end of that line, because I always measure right here. See on how this is too big for that, like all the way up to the hook point right here. That's too big for a trailer, so I would bite it right here, and once I'd bite it right there, perfect amount of room. First I would put it on normally, and if that's not working, I would bite it right here, and as soon as I'd bite it right there, I'd try it, and then I would bite it right there where the first hook would go in. And if that's perfect, because I mean, it goes on that perfectly. Salty DR it is called. I have some of these baits, and these are like a replica of Salty DR, but it's more shiny. It has a more glitter in there that they have. Now these baits right here, man, I've taken them off. I actually have one that is quietly ruined. I have one that's ruined, like almost to its breaking point. These things last forever if you're putting them on a swim jig. Here we go. These are the replicas that I have of the Salty DRs. I haven't opened these yet. These are called Cane Thumpers, all Frual Special, something like that. That is the replica of the small ones that I had. I don't know if this Cane Thumper is bigger than that Cane Thumper. Let's go ahead and measure them here. Perfect, right? Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. These Cane Thumpers, man, you get the right kind. You get the right kind. You get the right amount. You get the best length ever. Yeah, see, these are a little bit bigger, a little bit longer than the rest of them. I mean, they come in different sizes, I'm pretty sure, in here. But it's a little bit bigger. This is probably like a 4-inch, and this is probably like a 5-inch. Not much bigger, actually. Maybe an inch bigger. Yeah, so this got to be a 4-inch right here. I don't think it matters, though. Like, I would actually get the 5 inches, just because they're a little bit longer and they're a little bit heavier because they got salt in it. But I throw these cane thumper salty deers all the time with the swim jig. Only the sexy shad swim jig, or not the sexy shad, smoky shad. Excuse me for that mess up. Yeah, but cane thumpers are the way to go if you want to use some baits, or not baits, but if you want to use some regular trailers, I suppose to say. Next up is some smoking shad, just like this, just like that. Smoking shad, same thing. Blue, gray, white, black. It has black in there. It has gray. It has white on the bottom. Man, it has just all different kind of colors. I'm gonna actually be trying these. They're super flukes. I'm actually gonna be trying these this summer on the back of my shad, my swim jig. And then I'll be trying these alone. I have not used these at all. I've used regular super flukes, but I mean, my dad, he always used to be in fishing tournaments. He said these are the way to go. You'd always catch a lot of fish on these. So that's amazing bait right here. You throw these all the times on back of swim jigs. You could throw them alone, actually. Weightless, I recommend you guys throwing. You can do them weighted. I just have a lot of... and by the way, use them on braided line. Braided line is the way to go, because you can't really feel them pick it up. They bite it on slack line, basically. But anyway, enough with the smoky shad. Time to move on to the sexy shad. The trailers that I use for the sexy shad is Fat Albert Green Pumpkin. They're like these little grub tails, and they're very small, very small. They go on the back of that swim jig right there. Don't bite anything off of it. Just put it on as is. Throw it out there, reel it back, let it sit. Do all these kind of things with them, and you'll probably have the bite of your lifetime right there. Bite of your lifetime. And I think that is all. I have some other ones, but that's basically it. So I hope you guys like and subscribe. Peace.